Hello and welcome to the science class. My name is Teacher John, Primary 6. I'm going to teach you Science Primary 6. Science Primary 6, Term 2, not P7. Science Primary 6, Term 2. And we're going to look at cattle diseases. In our previous lesson, we looked at parasites in cattle. We said we have external parasites and internal parasites. Then we gave examples of internal parasites like tapeworms, hookworms, and liver flukes, and how they can be controlled. You can control them by deworming. So today I want us to look at cattle diseases. But before we mention diseases of cattle, we have to look at causes of diseases in cattle. Causes of diseases in cattle. What causes diseases in cattle? Causes of diseases in cattle. Causes of diseases in cattle. One, we have bacteria. Number two, we have virus. Number three, we have protozoa. And we also have poor feeding. Then number five, we have fungi. These are some of the causes of cattle diseases. Then how do cattle diseases spread? How do cattle diseases spread? How cattle diseases spread? How cattle diseases spread. One, through direct body contact. Through direct body contact with infected animals. Through direct body contact with infected animals. So once these animals come into direct body contact with other sick animals, they get diseases. Then through bites from vectors, and parasites. Through bites from vectors and parasites. So when ticks bite these animals, they get tick-borne diseases. Then through breathing in contaminated air. Through breathing in contaminated air. Then number four, through eating contaminated food. Contaminated food. You can also say through drinking contaminated water. Through drinking contaminated water. Through drinking contaminated water. So that's how diseases spread in animals. Then we look at signs of sickness in animals. Signs of sickness. How do you tell these animals have diseases? Signs of sickness in cattle. Signs of sickness in cattle. Signs of sickness in cattle. One is rough hair. Rough hair. Dullness. They become dull. Then swollen udder. Swollen udder. Emaciation or loss of body weight. Loss of body weight. Loss of body weight or emaciation. Sores in the mouth. Sores in the mouth. Sores in the mouth. Then number 6, limbing. Limbing. When these animals limb, a sign that they are sick. Then we have nostril discharge. Nostril discharge. Nostril discharge. These are some of the signs of sickness in cattle. So we look at the viral diseases in cattle. Viral diseases in cattle. Viral diseases in cattle, or cattle diseases caused by a virus. We have rinderpest and foot and mouth disease. We have foot and mouth disease, foot and mouth, foot and mouth disease. And one of the signs of foot and mouth disease is lameness and sores in the mouth. Then number 2, we have rinderpest. Rinderpest. Rinderpest is a viral disease. Then now we have bacterial diseases in cattle, or cattle diseases caused by bacteria. Bacterial diseases in cattle. Bacterial diseases in cattle. Cattle diseases which are caused by bacteria. One is anthrax. Anthrax. Number 2, we have foot rot. Foot rot. Number 3, we have mastitis. 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 Number 4, we have tuberculosis. 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 Then we have number 5, brucellosis. Brucellosis or brucella. Then number 6, we have pneumonia. Pneumonia. Number 7, we have calf score. Calf score. Number 8, we have black quarters. Black quarters. So these are some of the diseases that are caused by bacteria that affect cattle. We have anthrax, foot rot, mastitis, tuberculosis, brucellosis or brucella, pneumonia, cow's pox, and lastly black quarters. Those are some of the bacterial diseases that are caused by bacteria. Then we have protozoan diseases which are caused by protozoan cattle diseases. Protozoan diseases in cattle. Protozoan diseases in cattle. Protozoan diseases in cattle. We have what you call hair ticks. Heart water, East Coast fever, anaplasmosis, then red water. These are protozoan diseases. Then we also have what you call nagana. So these are examples of protozoan diseases. And these protozoan diseases, as the first four are spread by ticks, heart water, East Coast fever, anaplasmosis, and red water. They are tick-borne diseases. Then nagana is spread by a tsetse fly. So these ones here are tick-borne diseases. Tick-borne diseases. Then nagana is spread by a tsetse fly. Tsetse fly. Nagana is spread by a tsetse fly. So then we have nutritional diseases in cattle. We have milk fever and blot. Nutritional diseases in cattle. Nutritional diseases in cattle. Nutritional diseases in cattle. Number one, we have what we call milk fever. Milk fever. Number two, we have blot. So those are some of the diseases that affect cattle. They are diseases that affect cattle. Then let's look at methods of grazing cattle. Methods of grazing cattle. Methods of grazing cattle. Methods of grazing cattle. So we have around 5 methods of grazing cattle. One is paddocking method, zero grazing, free range grazing, tethering, and strip grazing. So one, we have paddocking. The word paddocking, that would be paddocking method. Number two, we have zero grazing. Zero grazing. Number three, we have tethering. Tethering. Number four, we have strip grazing. Then lastly, number five, we have free range. Free range grazing. Free range grazing. So these are the 5 methods of grazing. We have paddocking, zero grazing, tethering, strip grazing, and free range system. Now, in your booklet, page 40, there is the word zero grazing. Zero grazing. You remove that zero which is there. The word should be zero. ZEROGRAZING. Zero grazing. That zero which is there, please cross it out. Then we begin by looking at paddocking method. Paddocking method of grazing cattle. Paddocking. Paddocking method. What we mean by paddocking method is a system where animals are fed on pasture divided into paddocks. So land is divided into paddocks, into small plots. So paddocking method is a system of grazing animals where animals are fed on pasture of land which is divided into paddocks. So we shall say is a system of grazing animals on a big pasture land. Big pasture land divided into paddocks. So the land is divided into paddocks or small plots. Small plots of land, and those small plots are what you call paddocks. We look at advantages of paddock grazing. 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 It prevents overgrazing. It prevents overgrazing because these paddocks, animals feed on grass that is in these paddocks at different times. So pasture or grass is given time to grow. It's given time to grow. So by the time grass is used up in one paddock, it is growing in another paddock. Then number 2, it controls tick-borne diseases. It controls tick-borne diseases. It controls tick-borne diseases. It controls tick-borne diseases. Number 3, it restricts the movement of animals. It restricts the movement of animals. So animal movement is restricted because animals cannot go beyond the paddocks. So they remain in an enclosed area. It's enclosed, animals remain in an enclosed area. That's why we are saying it restricts the movement of animals. Then it controls tick-borne diseases. How does it control tick-borne diseases? It breaks the life cycle of ticks. It helps farmers to isolate sick animals. It helps farmers to isolate sick animals. It helps farmers to isolate sick animals. So sick animals are isolated in different paddocks because when you isolate animals that are sick, it helps to control the spread of diseases. So if you're using paddocking method, it's a very good method because it helps in isolation of sick animals. Disadvantages. Disadvantages of paddock grazing. Disadvantages of paddock grazing. It is expensive to construct and maintain paddocks. It is expensive to construct. It is expensive to construct and maintain the paddocks. Then it requires a large piece of land. It requires a large piece of land. It requires a large piece of land. Then barbed wires may hurt. Barbed wires may injure the cows. Barbed wires may injure animals. Barbed wires may injure animals. Now, these paddocks are made using barbed wires. So these barbed wires can easily injure animals. So those are some of the disadvantages of paddock grazing. It's expensive to construct and maintain paddocks. Then it requires a large piece of land, meaning that if you have a small piece of land, you cannot carry out paddock grazing. Then lastly, barbed wires can easily injure or hurt animals. Next, we look at tethering. Tethering method. Tethering method. Tethering method. It's a method of grazing animals by tying them on a tree using a peg, using a rope. It's a method of grazing animals. It's a method of grazing where animals are tied on a peg or tree using a rope. Using a rope is a method of grazing where animals are tied on a peg or a tree using a rope. Then we have advantages of tethering. Advantages of tethering. Advantages of tethering. Advantages of tethering. One, farmers want to restrict movement of animals, then it prevents animals from straying. Then the farmer is able to choose the best pasture for animals. Farmers are able to choose the best. Farmers are able to choose the best pasture for their animals. Farmers are able to choose the best pasture for their animals. It restricts the movement of animals. Restricts the movement of animals, then it prevents animals from straying. Prevents animals from straying or destroying farmers' crops because these animals are tied on a rope. Then look at disadvantages of tethering method. Disadvantages of tethering method. Disadvantages of tethering method. Disadvantages of tethering method. Ropes can easily strangle the animals. Ropes can easily strangle the animals. Ropes can easily strangle animals. So animals can be strangled to death. Animals can be strangled to death by the ropes. Then few animals can be kept. Few animals can be kept. So this method cannot allow farmers to keep very many animals. Only few animals can be kept. Then animals are exposed to parasites. Animals are exposed to parasites. Animals are exposed to parasites. Then with this method, the rope can cause wounds on the skin. The rope can cause wounds. The rope can cause wounds on the skin. So animals, because of friction, these ropes end up causing wounds on the skin of an animal. Then animals can easily be stolen. Animals can easily be stolen. Then animals are exposed to predators. 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 Like these animals can be attacked by wild animals like lions, cheetahs, and so on. Those are predators. Then animals can easily be stolen. As simple as that. So that's about tethering. Next we look at herding. Herding method, also known as free range system. Free range system. Free range system. Also known as herding. Herding or free range system. This is a system of grazing animals where animals move from one place to another looking for their food or for pasture. You can say is a method of grazing animals. The method of grazing animals where animals move freely. Animals move freely, looking for their own food. For their own food. So animals move looking for their own food freely, but sometimes they are followed by a herdsman. That's why it's called herding. These animals are followed by a herdsman so that they don't destroy farmers' crops. We look at advantages. Advantages of free range system. Advantages of free range system. Advantages of free range system. It does not require fencing. Does not require fencing. It is cheap in terms of feeding. It is cheap in terms of feeding because these animals don't buy food. Farmers don't buy food for animals. Animals look for their own food. So it is cheaper to feed them. Then animals do physical exercises. Animals do enough physical exercises. Animals do enough physical exercises. Then number 4, animals eat a variety of food. Animals eat a variety of food. So these are some of the advantages. It does not require fencing. It is cheaper in terms of feeding. Animals do enough physical exercises because they move a lot looking for their own food. Then animals eat a variety of food. They eat different types of food and therefore they end up getting a balanced diet. Disadvantages of free range system. 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 1. It encourages easy spread of diseases. Animals can stray and destroy crops. It promotes overgrazing. Animals can stray and destroy crops. Animals can stray and destroy crops. Number 2, it encourages the easy spread of diseases. It encourages the easy spread of diseases. It also encourages the easy spread of pests or parasites. It is tiring. Animals are exposed to predators. Animals are exposed to predators. Animals are exposed to predators. Then animals are also exposed to parasites. Then it promotes random mating. It promotes random mating. It promotes random mating. Next, we look at zero grazing. Zero grazing method. Zero grazing method. This is a method of grazing animals where animals are kept indoors. Food and water supplied to them. It's a method of grazing. It's a method of grazing where animals are kept indoors. Where animals are kept indoors and given food and water. The method of grazing animals where animals are given food and water from inside the house. So animals are kept indoors, water and food is provided to them. So what are the advantages? Advantages of zero grazing. It requires a small piece of land. That's enough. Advantages. Advantages of zero grazing. It requires a small piece of land. Requires a small piece of land. It requires a small piece of land. Number 2, animals are easily controlled and monitored, or it is easy to control and monitor animals. Easy to control and monitor easy to control and monitor animals. It is easy to monitor and control animals. Animals are protected from bad weather. Animals are protected from bad weather. Number 4, animals are protected from predators. Animals are protected from bad weather, not from predators. Animals are protected from predators. Prevents animals from destroying crops. Prevents animals from destroying crops. Because these animals are indoors. So it prevents animals from destroying crops. Disadvantages of zero grazing. 1 is it's expensive. Disadvantages of zero grazing. Disadvantages of zero grazing. It is expensive to start and maintain. Then animals don't do enough physical exercises. It is expensive. To maintain. To start. It is expensive to start and maintain. Animals do not do enough physical exercises. Then it requires a lot of labor. It requires a lot of labor. It requires a lot of labor. So, those are the methods of grazing animals. In our next lesson, we shall look at practices that harm cattle in the field, in transit, and in the abattoir. What bad things do we do to animals when they are eating food, when we take them to the abattoir to be slaughtered, when we are transporting them from one place to another? Which bad things do we do? Those are practices that harm cattle in the field, in transit, in the abattoir, and so on. Then after that, we shall look at starting and managing a livestock farm. Which factors do we need to consider? Otherwise, thank you so much for being attentive. May the Almighty God bless you abundantly.